President Trump implemented sweeping executive orders resulting in stricter border controls and impacting asylum claims from migrants. He also targeted undocumented migrants, creating uncertainty around the future of legal agricultural worker visas, like the H-2A. "We have no choice but to go back," lamented a Mexican lady worried about her chances of being deported. These policies have caused significant hardship for migrants seeking asylum and legal entry into the U.S. The impact on legal visa programs is unclear. "It's so unfair."
Mexico prepared for a potential surge in migrants due to anticipated stricter U.S. immigration policies under President Trump's administration. This involved setting up large-scale temporary housing near the U.S. border. President Trump's platform consistently focused on stricter border control and a reduction in immigration. These actions reflect that stance and preemptive measures taken by Mexico in anticipation of his policies. The border situation is an ongoing complex relationship between the U.S. and Mexico, particularly concerning immigration.
President Trump issued separate statements, one urging Saudi Arabia to lower oil prices to pressure Russia into ending its war in Ukraine, and another directly addressing Putin, threatening new sanctions if the conflict isn't resolved. The current approach combines economic pressure, oil prices, with the threat of traditional sanctions. It's noteworthy that Trump is attempting to leverage Saudi Arabia's role as a major oil producer to influence the geopolitical situation. This differs from previous strategies that have primarily focused on direct sanctions or military aid to Ukraine. The United States issued a statement through Secretary of State Marco Rubio condemning China's actions in the South China Sea as dangerous and destabilizing. The statement was made following a conversation between Secretary Rubio and his Philippine counterpart. There was an inquiry about whether China planned to have a phone call with the U.S. Secretary of State, suggesting an ongoing diplomatic engagement focused on the South China Sea. The South China Sea is a strategically important region with overlapping territorial claims by multiple nations, including China, the Philippines, Vietnam. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim stated that Malaysia will oppose any U.S. tariffs imposed on its goods, but will persevere through the economic challenges resulting from them. He emphasized Malaysia's intention to strengthen trade relationships with BRICS nations and through free trade agreements, FTAs, as a strategy to mitigate the negative effects of potential U.S. tariffs. The United States, under President Trump's second administration, has implemented protectionist trade policies. These policies likely influence the Malaysian government's proactive stance and focus on diversification. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is undertaking his first official trip to Panama. This visit follows President Trump's recent assertion of some claim or interest regarding the Panama Canal. The visit likely aims to address concerns and possibly clarify the U.S. position on the canal's sovereignty and operation. Back in December, President of Panama Pres Molino responded, "Nothing to talk, canal belongs to Panama." This visit has significant implications for U.S.-Panama relations and the future of the Panama Canal's operation. It could influence the international perception. Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang and newly appointed U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had a phone call. During this call, Qin Gang issued a veiled warning to Rubio, essentially telling him to behave himself in his new role. This was their first conversation since Rubio's confirmation as Secretary of State under President Trump's administration. Marco Rubio, known for his hawkish stance on China, was appointed Secretary of State under President Trump's second term. U.S.-China relations have been strained for years due to trade disputes, Hong Kong, and differing stances on Taiwan. Following President Trump's return to the White House, there's been a discernible shift in international relations. China is strengthening ties with several U.S. allies, including Japan and India. Simultaneously, the U.S., under President Trump, has announced a national energy emergency, signaling a reversal of climate regulations and a renewed focus on fossil fuels. Drill, baby, drill. The stated intention is to boost domestic oil and gas production. This action is also a clear indication of the president's intention to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement.